for joining me today. This is Rachel from Rachel's Card Studio, and today I will be going over how to make this super adorable card using the awesome Otters stamp set and also featuring a fun little pop-up on the inside. This awesome Otters stamp set is a part of Stampin' Up! Celebration, so you could earn this stamp set for free by purchasing a $50 order. And make sure you stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to be showing you some other examples using some of the other free products and also a stamp set out of the spring catalog. And this paper here is the Simply Marbleous in Balmy Blue. So here's the card kit. All the measurements will be in the description below. I cut it out already to try to speed things up a little bit for this video, but the dimensions will be in the description. So I just started by adhering the marble paper onto a piece of basic white cardstock. And then I am using the glittered white ribbon that was out of the catalog for Christmas. I don't believe it's available anymore. You may be able to get it in the clearance rack though. So then I just tied a little bow. I wanted the front of this card to be pretty easy, nothing too complicated, because the feature here really is the center of the card popping out. And it's really quite easy once you do it. And I just hold it to the side. And then we're going to come back and stamp, but I want to show you how to do that inside fold. So what you're going to do is fold your cardstock in half that you're going to have pop up. It doesn't have to be basic white, but for this card I'm using basic white. And it is 8 1/4 by 5 1/4. So you're just going to fold that in half. I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure it's nice and crisp. And then you're going to measure down 2.5 inches from the top of the card. And make sure you use a pencil to mark. And then from the center score line on either side, you're going to do 2.5. Just a little dot. Then you can do this using either your paper trimmer or your scoring tool, but the paper trimmer is really easy. You just line up the dots on the score line and you can see through here where your dots are going to be. So you're going to want to make sure it's on the line to mark for scoring. Make sure you're not using your cutting blade. And then you're just going to flip it and do the same thing. Make sure it's lined up. So this is what you're going to have. Score line here, score line here. And since you did it in pencil, you can erase that the little dots that you made. Then I just found it was easy to take my finger, kind of like start the crease. Even though you scored it, it's going to want to resist because you're bending the paper. And then just fold, and then fold again. And take my bone folder, make a nice crisp line. So on this card, I put "You are utterly awesome." So I'm going to stamp that before we adhere it to the center of the card, and also stamp the other otter. So I stamped the saying in Balmy Blue. Make sure it's facing the right way up. Alright. Use a scrap paper, make sure it's right. Sometimes the ink doesn't set right, so I always stamp off on a scrap piece of paper before I put it on my final card. You are utterly awesome. And then in the Tuxedo Black Memento ink, I'm going to stamp the otter that is on the inside of the card at the very bottom right. And then again, I always like to stamp off, make sure I have a good image. All right. Add him down here. Then I did 2 scallop circles, one in Balmy Blue to match the card base, and then one in the basic white. I'm going to do the otter that looks like he's swimming. And then on a scrap piece of paper, I'll do this otter because I'm going to cut him out. So I've just got a little scrap piece here. And then from here, we're going to color. So I used light soft suede for the body of the otter. And I'm using the Stampin' Blends. They do a really good job of making someone who's not super artistic look artistic. So coloring is a breeze with these Stampin' Blends. Because with regular markers, you get the lines. These blends, you don't have any lines at all, just because it's alcohol based, just blends right together. I wish Stampin' Up! Had the blends in every single color, but unfortunately they do not. They also just released a pre-order for skin tones, a variety of skin tones. So that would also be good for these little otters because it's neutral colors and brown. And then for its belly, I used light crumb cake. For the nose, I used a light petal pink. Just a little touch of pink on the nose. For the fish on the swimming otter, I used light pumpkin pie for the top part. And then dark pumpkin pie for the body of the fish. And then for the otter swimming, I used the light balmy blue for the wave lines. Just kind of scribbled, not being too particular. And then I used dark balmy blue for the splash drops, so they stood out a little bit. Alright, so then we'll finish the outside of the card. So once I have the ribbon on, I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the card base. And then this little otter onto the balmy blue scallop. Then I'm going to use just a couple dimensionals to pop him up over the ribbon. You can put it wherever you like, but I like it covering the ribbon just a little bit. And then I'm going to add some rhinestones, of course, because I cannot have cards without rhinestones or some sort of gem. And then I'm going to add a wink of Stella to the water to give it a little bit of shimmer. Probably be hard to see on the camera, the shimmer from the wink of Stella. It's really cute. So then for the inside, we're going to turn this over, and you're going to want to adhere everywhere but these triangles in the center. And not on the score line in the center. And then you just line up the center here. So then when it folds, triangle goes right towards the center. So then these awesome otters don't have a die, but they're not too difficult to cut around. So I'm just going to fussy cut. Then you have a little otter, freestanding. So then I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to the bottom part of the otter, because you don't want to put adhesive up here, because then when you fold it, it'll stick to the center of the card. So just a little bit on the bottom. And actually, I'm going to add Wink of Stella to this fish to make the fish shiny too. Because Wink of Stella and Rhinestones are my most used decoration on my cards. Looks really cute. A little bit of sparkle. There you have it. Really easy. I did some more examples for you so you can see what else you can do with this technique, and not just an animal stamp, just in case you don't like the awesome otters. This one here is using Driving By stamp set, which is in the Celebration catalog, and also the rainbow paper that you can get for free in the Celebration catalog. And here's the center. Driving by to say hi. Super cute. I love this designer series paper. And then if you spend $100, you can get the Friendly Hello bundle, which comes with the stamp set and the coordinating designer series paper. So here's the front of that one. And I made this inside designer series paper, but you're going to want to be careful when you score that you don't push too hard, because the designer series paper is a little more fragile than the cardstock, so you could rip right through it. But again, it's super cute. And then I also did a Valentine's Day one, because we are so close to Valentine's Day, the end of January. So this is using the Sweet Talk bundle. And then I just had some hearts pop up. So I will put in the description box all of the supplies that I used to make the awesome otter card, and also the order number for the Celebration stamp sets that I used. Let me know in the comments which card is your favorite. I think the otter is my favorite because I love this Marbleous paper. Let me know what card is your favorite, and I would appreciate it if you like this video and also subscribed. That way I can keep giving you card tutorials. Thank you.